Okay, I'm gonna try to get this there we go. Once again, I would love to be outside, but with the busy traffic and all the noise, I'm trying to get in here somewhere where I can speak for a minute. So the reason that I needed to go ahead and do this, hopefully it's after 8:30, at least here in the South. So some of you may be mamas dropping off your kids from school or at school and different things like that. So I wanted to just kind of share my experience. I unschool my kids. And this morning I just came from my yoga class and I was being quizzed by this older woman on how my kids were actually learning and getting any education. So I talked to them about how later on this year we're going to be getting a trailer and full-timing it for a while with our kids. And the first thing was, well, so I guess you're going to homeschool your kids. And I said, yeah, we've been unschooling for a while. And she said, well, how are you going to do curriculum? And I said, well, with unschooling, there is no curriculum. So unschooling is a little different than homeschooling. And there are a gazillion different titles for non-traditional schooling. You've got road schooling, world schooling, radical unschooling, deschooling, homeschooling, all kinds. And so with unschooling, for us, I have 3 kids. My kids are 8, 6, and 3. And if you ask them, you know, when did they start homeschooling or unschooling, they started as soon as they were born. Well, where's your school? The world is my school. Who's your teacher? Everyone's a teacher. And that's the deal. Everybody is a teacher. And for every parent that says, oh, I could never homeschool my kids, you know, I'm an awful teacher, I couldn't teach them. Well, like it or not, you're teaching your children. You are your child's first teacher. So be intentional about that. No matter what kind of schooling you do with your kids and whether you send them to a more traditional school or not, you are the first teacher that your kids see. So what I'm doing is letting the kids lead and helping them to explore the world together. And everything is a learning opportunity. This lady was asking me about, you know, with curriculum, well, how do they learn math? And I said, as adults, we don't sit and go, okay, I'm going to focus in just on math when I go to the grocery store today, and I will just look at how to add what milk plus eggs cost. No, you're looking at everything. I mean, you're thinking, what do you have at home? What groceries do you need? You're thinking social interactions with other people. You're looking at scientific whatever equations for what you need or how you're breaking down to create the recipe that you want to use. I substitute a lot because we are pretty much vegan at home, and so I come up with random substitutions and we look at what things calculate for proteins and what things would cover us for different things that we need. So going to a grocery store is not just a math problem. We look at reading and we are learning about food and health and nutrition and home economics and social interaction and all of these different things. We don't compartmentalize when we are adults for how we learn. So I don't compartmentalize with my kids. We don't have a specific curriculum, but when my kids are really interested in something, we focus in on it and we learn a lot about it. So my oldest one is 8, and she, I guess, is in 2nd to 3rd grade. And yeah, if you ask her, you know, who the 15th president is or something like, or whatever the 3rd grade level is right now, she may not know exactly what is in a public school. But she also is on her 4th entrepreneurial business. She just signed a contract for a book that she has co-written with my mother, and she's the illustrator, and she just signed a contract with the publisher where this will be released later on. Yesterday we went to a public school and she presented her book and she spoke to a whole group of 2nd and 3rd graders. So she spoke to 30 and then 60 kids at a time, and I watched my little girl at 8 years old go up and have no fear and present to all of these kids, some of them way bigger than she is because she's a tiny little girl too. And she presented with no fear about something she was so excited about. And she talked to them about how if you really want to do something and you're interested in something, to work hard, and that she had to redo some of the illustrations and she had to really practice on it. And she really loved the experience and really enjoyed speaking and talking to the kids. And then we toured the school, and she got to see what it's like in a public school setting, and where they eat together and all of those things. And it was such an incredible, enriching experience. And I was really excited to see that, you know, she went in there with no fear, because she's not experienced the ridicule. And it's not that we keep our kids in a bubble at all. But she has been around a whole lot of kids all over the world with different types of educational models than what we have traditionally here in the States. And it has been a really enriching experience for her to see all of the beautiful ways of learning, and to look at it with a positive slant and be excited about learning, and not just be something that is, I have to memorize this and I have to pass this test. My goal is not that my kids know every single statistic and fact and thing that you have to memorize in school. My goal is that they know how to learn, and they know how to find the answers to the questions, and so they are thinking creatively, and they're coming up with their own solutions to problems. And so I want to raise creative problem solvers. And on top of that, I also want them to enjoy learning. And learning doesn't stop in 12th grade. You learn for the rest of your life. I just saw one of the questions that just popped up says, what's the age to start homeschooling? And my answer is, they start learning as soon as they are born. So I don't start homeschooling, or in my case, unschooling, at 5 or at 6. Every time that you have an interaction with your child, it's a learning opportunity. And every time they interact with anyone else. My kids have learned from 2-year-olds, and my kids have learned from 82-year-olds. There is not a limit on the age, or maximum or minimum on the age, on who can teach your child either. So it's more about being aware of all of the learning opportunities that we have, and every interaction that we have, and what we can learn from it. And not just from people, from animals too, and from nature and everything else. We go out into the woods and we learn all kinds of things. And my kids still do watch, we don't have TV, but we do Netflix, and they watch a lot of documentaries, and they have learned a whole lot. My 6 and 8-year-old can tell me all kinds of facts about animals that I didn't even know that they've learned in these documentaries. I just saw another question, what happens if they want to go to college? I encourage you to Google homeschoolers going to college and just see what you get. Now, I haven't done that, so I can't tell you exactly what's going to show up, but I am confident you're going to find a whole lot of really interesting information on it, because homeschoolers tend to thrive in college. Think about college setting versus high school or elementary school setting, at least here in the States, which I'm going to be speaking from the States since obviously that's what I know the best. But for college, you're picking and choosing your classes. You're a lot more proactive on what you're getting involved in. It's not just about pop quizzes and memorization, but you have a whole lot of essays and critical thinking and practicums and internships and all of those things. That is what homeschooling is for a lot of kids. We don't just sit at home at all. I mean, we world school. We go travel. We spent a month last year in Costa Rica, and we learned all about Costa Rica. We went and explored, and we asked questions. And when my kids want to learn about veterinary clinics, I called up a veterinarian in the neighborhood and asked if we could come and visit. And so we came and visited and got to interview her and ask her questions. So apprenticeships and things like that are wonderful, and you would be surprised at how many homeschoolers really thrive in a college setting. And that being said, my last thing I'll say here is, as far as college goes, I am completely supportive of my kids going to college if they want to go to college. but it is not to get a piece of paper, because that piece of paper does not prove that they are going to be successful in life, and that piece of paper does not guarantee them a job in life. If they are going to college, it's because there are classes and courses that really interest them and fascinate them and that lead them into the path that they want to go. And if going and traveling the world is what's going to get them there, then I fully support them not going to college. I'm the only child in my family that went to college. I have been to public school, private school, homeschool, group classes. I've experienced all of the different ranges of schooling, and I don't say there is only one way for everybody, and you choose your own path. So the key for me is looking at what is it that gets you excited and gets you eager to learn. And because when you're interested in learning, that's when you actually retain it a whole lot more. So it says, okay, last question here. Do you count on scholarships like 4-H? There are a lot of extracurricular things that you can get involved in. And yeah, as my kids get older, if college is in their focus, we are definitely going to look at a lot of things that they can do for scholarships, because there are a lot of really cool things that you can do for scholarships and volunteering. You can get a lot of scholarships that way, and with them not having the traditional school schedule of 40 hours a week devoted to that, they can devote time into getting stuff for scholarships. So yeah, if they choose to go to college, we're gonna be working starting in middle school and early high school on what all they need to do to get into college and how they're going to help to fund for it. So if you guys have any other questions, this was just hot on my mind this morning, and I'll have the replay up here so you can watch the whole thing. If you have any other questions, my website is mamasaysnamaste.com. And it's MAMA says namaste.com. So you can go there, you can find out more information, contact me there. There's a Facebook page there. I had somebody ask if I Skype. I do have Skype. I haven't actually done anything through my work with it yet, but contact me on mamasaysnamaste.com, and I hope to be doing some more Periscope videos soon. Thanks. Have a great day. Namaste.